by our good friend Parker Rehm. And Parker, we have talked a lot about this Texas A&M football team. I want to dive very quickly about what happened on Saturday against the Texas Longhorns, or this weekend against the Texas Longhorns. It was a game that I eerily felt that I think a lot of people thought Texas is playing well enough to be able to win this football game and kind of derail the perfect season overall. What did you make of what you saw there in Austin, and just kind of where the team stands now that the regular season is complete?
I honestly didn't even notice it until we hopped on this video call, but I got a burnt orange tie on today.
Oh,
So that
wow.
I'm not trying to make a statement.
Sorry.
Yeah, I just realized that. Not my choice. Somebody, our main anchor picked it. But really just the takeaways from this game, I think for the second straight year, Texas had the best game plan possible for this Texas A&M team.
Mm-hmm.
And Marcel Reed even talked just as much post-game about it, is they just dropped 7 or 8 in coverage and took away any of those opportunities. That was a pretty cool drone show as well that we're showing right now. They took away a lot of those opportunities downfield that A&M has been used to hitting in the early season with Casey Concepcion and Mario Craver and Ashton Bethel Roman. I mean, they didn't have that many long throws, the long touchdown passes. It was really Marcel Reed getting it done with his legs and taking away the run game. The run game wasn't as smooth for the Aggies as it has been, and that's really the biggest formula to their success. So just a good game plan for Texas. I think they executed it well, and whether they're Aggie killers, I guess that's what you could call them, but they certainly did that on Friday night. But a great game, awesome game to be a part of.
Parker, I think it was this time last Tuesday that we talked about after the Samford game. You know, Texas A&M didn't really look great once Marcel Reed was out of the game. And, you know, I was holding my breath early in the game when he went down with the ankle injury. How is he feeling? Is he feeling good? I think it's going to help that Texas A&M isn't actually playing in the SEC championship game, and he'll have some more time to rest. But what did you make of his play after the ankle injury?
So he was actually warming up right in front of me after that, kind of testing out his knee, and I took a video and put that out immediately because I knew, people would want to know about that. But it looked like he was actually grasping at his knee.
Okay.
So his left knee, they were tending to his left knee that entire time. At no point during that entire interaction with the trainers did they go to his ankle. But I did see a lot of people saying that it was his ankle. So I'm assuming that we'll get an answer. We didn't get to talk to Coach Elko this week. Obviously, they're probably taking a week off and regrouping after that loss. But I did think that it did hinder him a little bit. And that maybe just from a confidence standpoint, he had to come out. Really a drive killer, too. They were down in the red zone, 3rd down, and they didn't have the confidence to throw it with their backup quarterback, Miles O'Neill. So they just kind of run a little jet sweep there and call it a day. And I just think that's not that definitely hindered the momentum for the Aggies. But also, he just didn't have his best day. He didn't have his best stuff against the Longhorns really for the second straight year, which was a little disappointing, I think, in College Station, given how he's played all season long.
Absolutely. I know no coach roots for losses. And there was a time where Nick Saban's best teams were not the ones that went undefeated. It was the teams that lost the game, and then you saw that edge. You saw something come back with the football team, and they looked dangerous after that one loss. Do you think that there is something here after this loss to Texas where it actually helps reinforce Mike Elko's message about what he wants this team to be and then some of the ways that they'll need to improve and get better? Because sometimes I think you can kind of lull yourself to sleep with an undefeated mark, and maybe sometimes these losses actually do help, despite the fact that kept them out of Atlanta.
Yeah, it's kind of that monkey off your back, just to finally get that loss out of the way. And yeah, it sucks to have that happen at the end of the season once again with a shot to go to the SEC championship and just not getting that job done. And I think that's something that Texas A&M, that is the pillar that they have to knock down, and they just haven't been able to get it done these past 2 years. I think that they've done a good job to this point. But I also do think that it gives them some less pressure heading into that if they get selected, which they should probably be in the college football playoff. I know that's going to be a heated topic of discussion these next couple of weeks, whether it's Texas A&M, whether it's Notre Dame, Miami, Texas. Somebody's going to be mad. But if that happens in College Station where they get left out, I don't know that the College Football Playoff Committee will survive. I think the entire force of Aggie Land is going to be sicked on them if they leave them out.
Well, I mean, Parker, I think it definitely helps that Hunter Yurachek, being an SEC guy, is the chair.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure he'll put in the goodwill, but I don't see a scenario where Texas A&M is left out. I mean, if anything, it's definitely going to be Texas with that third loss, and it's probably going to be the Florida. But talking about Texas this year, I mean, when we were talking with Roger Wallace the whole year, he was talking about, man, the Longhorns have zero resemblance of a run game. And then Trey Wisner just channels his 2024 self against Texas A&M and just runs all over the Aggies. Are you concerned now? We'll talk hypothetically because Texas A&M should be in the playoff. Are you a little bit concerned now that they've actually played a SEC opponent that is above the midway point in the conference and they just weren't able to get it done?
Well, I think that's the doubts that a lot of people had over Texas A&M was that they haven't played. And even right now, their resume does not stack up very well because the teams that they did play, while they may have looked good at the time and been ranked pretty high at the time, they didn't end up that way. And I think that's something that's caused a little fuss with how people view Texas A&M now is they did play a Texas team that was preseason #1, went in, has a decent resume, but obviously that loss to Florida really causes some concern. And then the 20-point loss to Georgia as well, which Texas fans will say that they're maybe overlooking them because of that Ohio State loss. But I think it has more to do with that Florida loss. I think that they just got to put this game behind them. And as fair weather as it is to say that, I think it's probably just one of those games where, yes, it would have been great to go to the SEC championship, but I also think the Aggies knew they were in the playoff either way. And maybe they took the foot off the gas a little bit, which is ridiculous to say in the Lone Star Showdown. But 11-0 entering that game, you pretty much are locked for the postseason. Maybe if they had lost to South Carolina, that game would have meant a little bit more. And I think it's not a great look, I'll tell you that much, to lose to Texas, the one team that really could have just thrown all that doubt out the window, because people certainly have their doubts in the maroon and white.
For sure. Mike Elko has been talking a lot about getting the people to believe in this football team and not believe the 8-4 hype. Hey, here's Coach after the game.
We didn't handle the atmosphere well enough. Obviously that's what makes this league challenging is when you play night games in this atmosphere. It puts a lot of stress on you. We have to handle it better. You can't be successful with the penalties that we had, but I think that's where a lot of that came from. We just did not handle the atmosphere well enough. No, I mean we had two early on that were bad rush lanes. Those were scrambles. The last one was a designed run. I think those were the three runs he had on the night, I thought. So the last one was obviously a good play call by them, and we didn't execute it the right way. I thought we corrected the two cage issues that we had early on and started spying them a little bit more. I thought that was really effective, and then it just felt like in the second half we had a hard time getting them into third down because we just weren't doing the things we needed to do to get ahead of the chains.
Parker, the latest college football playoff committee rankings will be out tonight. Where do you expect this Texas A&M team to fall, and what do you think that the Aggies, as far as in that locker room with Coach Elko, that coaching staff, where do you think that they believe they are after the 12 games?
I think they should be pretty far up, and realistically, the resume is only as good as what your schedule. You only play the people that are on your schedule. You don't really control that. I mean, I guess you control the non-conference schedule, but the SEC schedule is locked in. That's not something that they can control, and I think that's something that's been holding them back. So I think they still think they're one of the best teams in the country, and realistically, 11 games, they sure looked like it. And then the one game that they didn't was this past week. So I would assume, I think I've been seeing that they've been checking in around 7, at least in terms of predictions. I think that's a fair assessment. You can't, I mean, clearly you're not going to get the automatic qualifier. You're not going to get one of those top 4 seeds. So we're looking at a playoff game at Kyle Field. I did see a projection of Notre Dame playing Texas A&M at Kyle Field this time.
Wow, that'd be interesting.
So Notre Dame at 10 and then Texas A&M at 7.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a really interesting game, obviously, given how the last one ended in South Bend. And then when Notre Dame came to Texas A&M 2 years ago and took down the Aggies in that season opener. So I think that, at least storyline-wise, that would be great. But we'll ultimately see. I am interested, especially with those teams on the bubbles, kind of like I talked about earlier, just to see how the committee really ranks this, because there's going to be some teams that are not too pleased that they were left out.
I could definitely see that.